Okay, y'all, real quick. This is like a video diary, I guess. I don't fucking know. But I was really just talking out loud, and I was like, let me just record this. Because I was sitting here thinking, right? Because I was thinking about a lot of stuff, right? I was thinking about, ah. So, I paused the video by accident. I think I noticed it sooner. I'm like 18 seconds in, but what I was saying was, I was sitting here thinking about porn, right? And Shota, right? And what else? Of course, like this is gonna lead into what I'm about to say. But I was thinking about that, right? Because I was like, I don't like how Pornhub. I'm talking about Pornhub specifically, right? How how Pornhub, I can't watch that in America anymore unless I have a VPN. You know, I don't like how people are blaming porn for their problems. Once again, it's projection, because it's not porn isn't the issue. It's the unhealthy relationship that society was not. It was the unhealthy relationship that society was taught to have towards sex, sexuality, and porn. Y'all. And I do not agree with you having to put your age. You need your age. What is it? Your ID to certify your age to watch porn. That is insane. And this is coming from my own personal experience. For me personally, even before I got into spirituality and I was awakened, and even before I had full sovereignty over myself, right, when it came to sex and porn, I got through what I got through because I watched porn. May sound crazy. Everybody's experience is differently. Nobody's experience is more holier than thou's, right? So, for me, porn was the only thing that I could turn to when I had nothing. Where I was depressed, I was lonely, I was shamed, shameful, guilty, judgmental, hateful, anything negative, right? Depressed. It was the only escape that I could literally have aside from my imagination that got me through life, that got me through where I'm at now, so I'm able to talk to y'all from a more open and clear-minded space, right? Because porn isn't the issue. It's the unhealthy relationship with porn. Because when you repress that sexual desires, and this goes into DL men, right? People who are DL, and people who try to use people's sexuality against them. We live in a society where you're shamed for everything. And one of the biggest things is sex and sexuality. The reason why you have a bunch of DL men is because you have a bunch of DL men, and you have people that can blackmail DL men for sleeping with other boys or trans people or androgynous people, whatever. And the reason why you have so many men that cheat a lot is because society literally not only breeds people to be insecure, they breed people to be clingy and codependent and judgmental and hateful, and they give people this false idea. And Disney is a problem too. They give people this false idea that love and companionship and relationships and partnerships looks this one specific way. There is no reason for a DL man to kill somebody who's queer or androgynous or trans. And there's no reason for people to be able to even blackmail that man, that boy, because he sleeps with androgynous or trans or queer people. And there's no reason why that boy can't express his sexuality. Why do you think people have an addiction to porn? That's the only place they can turn to where they can feel somewhat liberated, y'all. Why do you think so many people are promiscuous? It's not because of the porn. It's because of the unhealthy, fucked up relationship we have with porn, sexuality, sexual identity, sex itself, right? And this comes from my experience of, I would even shame myself most of my life for like watching porn, or like I'll watch it, it'll be good. Some days be better than others, but it'll be good in the moment, and then I feel guilty. Like, okay, I'm done. I'll never do this again. I'll never do this again. As if it's bad. As if it's wrong. Because if you want to use that logic, that means social media, TV, video games, any type of billboard marketing, any type of commercials would be wrong. You know how many video games have violence in them? Movies and TV shows have violence in them. And you know how many people actually try to replicate that? How much music has violence in it? Of course, there are some people in every community that are super impressionable. But you, just like Christianity, right? Just like Satanism, just because you have a few people in Satanism that are extremists, that take it too far, does not mean that's does not, oh my god, sorry, I'm stuttering. That does not mean that every Satanist is an extremist or takes it too far. Just because you had Christians in history that are extremists and took it too far and still do, does not mean that every single Christian takes it too far and still does, right? And that goes with people who are impressionable. Just because I'm playing a video game about people, just because I'm playing a video game about people killing people, it does not mean I want to go out and actually kill people. We understand this nuance, right? Apply that to sex, to porn, right? And I was like, if people want to just love their porn and watch whatever they want to watch, they should be able to do that. And if people want to watch lolly porn or shoulder porn or furry porn or diaper porn or shit porn, I really love, one of my favorites porn actually is public exhibitionists. I love public exhibitionists. If people want to do that, if people want to watch that type of stuff, they should be able to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what society deems as, oh, you gotta have an ID to watch porn. Like, that really doesn't make any sense. You acting like these people are going out buying guns. What? Porn isn't hurting anybody. It's the unhealthy relationship we have with porn and or sex that's actually getting people killed. Just like I mentioned before, right? It's not the video games that's causing people to go to schools and shoot up places. It's the parents' inadequacy to pay attention to their children and understand what's going on. There's a lot of fucking parents cannot tell you every little detail about their child, and that's sad. And the signs could be right there. It's your own negligence that's causing the child to go to schools and shoot or harm people, you know, for the most part. And it's a spiritual thing, y'all. It's a spiritual thing, right? A lot of people aren't tapped into their authentic nature, their spirituality. So a lot of times they're operating out of the lower base consciousness, the lower base chakras only, and they can't see a higher perspective to things. Because when you're an evolved person, you can watch porn and you can enjoy it. It doesn't mean you're gonna go out and just start gang banging people on a fucking train, girl. For real. It doesn't mean any of that. Doesn't mean just because you play video games, right? If your consciousness is evolved, it doesn't mean you're just gonna play video games and go out and just start shooting people. What? So, and I was thinking, and that led me into like what I really want to talk about though, was dark beings. I don't know why I'm starting this video. Probably like, why do Why are we shaming porn? And why do we have to starve dark beings? I don't know, girl. But it's gonna be something. But yeah, so this led me to my main topic where I really want to talk about was dark beings, right? We're dark beings, right? If you're on the channel, 9 times out of 10, you're a dark being, right? Even if you are what I call a dark angel or a dark star or a dark light being, which is a being who is really of the light at their core, but kind of like how Lucifer is, right? You're a light being, but you carry that dark current, right? Because every light being doesn't carry that dark current the same. So if you're over here, you're probably a darker person, regardless if you are more of the light or of the dark, right? Because just like how Akate has light in her, just like how Source has darkness in them, right? So that's why I call those people dark light beings, because they came from Source and not Akate, right? Typically. But anyways, I'm like, I was sitting there thinking, because it goes back into what I was saying earlier, because it wasn't just the porn, it was everything, right? Going back into like, I want to create something in the future called the Order of the Underworld. And it's going to be a place for dark beings where they can go to, right? And there's going to be different, it's going to be like a huge thing, because I want it to be kind of set up like how the Galactic Federation is, how you have different like factions in this plea, have different factions and people having different teachings within those factions, right? But what I want to bring to this Order of the Underworld is like sacred addiction, right? Sacred abuse. And there was another one. Sacred addiction, sacred abuse. And I swear there was another one, but I guess not. Yeah. So I want to bring that to the group, right? For beings who like, I mean, it's not going to be for everybody who's part of this order, mind you, right? And when you want to practice sacred abuse or sacred addiction, oh yeah, sacred taboo, you will be tested. We will test your frequency, your psychology. We will test your emotions, your essence, to make sure that it's safe for you to partake in these certain practices, because just like everything, the darkness has layers, just like an onion, right? Everything is a spectrum. The darkness has layers, right? And just because you're a dark being, not every dark being can handle certain darkness, and it is what it is. So we have to make sure you're able to handle that before we let you deeper down into the lower levels of this underworld, right? But regardless of that though, a lot of people won't even need to do that, because most people will have their own thing, right? Not everybody would need to practice sacred addiction or sacred abuse, right? Those are for people who it's geared. Those things will be everything in this Order of the Underworld will be, every practice, every ritual, spell, activity will be designed for people of that nature, right? Not everybody's going to need to practice sacred abuse or sacred addiction or sacred taboo. They might, like, some people just might want to do sacred abuse. Some might just want to do sacred addiction. Some might just want to do sacred taboo. It might be a combination: sacred taboo, sacred addiction, etc., right? We're not going to force anything. They'll know about these things, but we're not going to force them, right? Because it will only be geared towards people who is supposed to be geared towards, right? Only certain people are supposed to do these certain things because that's what they're called to do. Not everybody's called to be. An example would be the right hand path. Not everybody's called to do the right hand path. Not everybody's called to do the middle path. Not everybody's called to do the left hand path. Not everybody's called to do the prime evil clip off path, right? And that's valid. Hold on, I have to pee. Give me a second. Okay, so we are back. Yeah, so like, not everybody's called to those specific paths. They'll know about them, and they might have a little knowledge. They'll have some teachings about those paths, but unless somebody's actually called to do it, they're only going to know the basic general stuff that they need to know. which they can apply to everyday life type of stuff, right? But with what they'll just know enough to what they can apply to everyday life type of stuff, right? Because not everybody needs to know how to do the clip out, girl. Not everybody needs to know how to become a demon. Excuse me. Not everybody needs to know how to walk the dark path, because everybody's different. We all came from pure imagination. We are all emanations of pure imagination at the same time. We are embodiments of as pure imagination. So we are pure imaginary beings, right? Which means we all express ourselves differently, right? Otherwise, that would defeat the purpose of pure imagination. What some of y'all might call Source or Hecate. I call the void truest imagination, but same thing, right? So, and this goes back to what I'm saying, right? And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. You might, and this is an example, right? A nice little cute scenario for y'all. So, and I think I said the scenario before too, but I'm not sure. So, you might have a family, right? Boom. And this is just to keep things simple, right? Because there's always nuance to it. I'm just not going to go too much into that nuance. I'll drop a little nuance, but just enough where you get what I'm trying to say. Because overall, it gets convoluted, like everything else. The higher and lower you go up or go down. Is there up or down? Who knows? It doesn't matter. But so you have a family, right? Let's just say, for the sake of keeping it simple, you have a light family, right? So they teach the teachings of Ra. They might teach the teachings of Ra, the law of one, right? They might teach Christ consciousness. They might, let's just say, every Wednesday they speak positive affirmations to each other, and every Tuesday they speak positive affirmations to the plants they grow in their house, right? Let's just say they pray over their food with like light codes, right? Light prayers, right? Thanking the Mary Magdalene, thanking Christ consciousness, thanking Source. You know what I mean? And they're very uplifting. They're very close. They love each other, and everybody in that community, right? That family has their role, right? And then boom, and like I said, I'm creating extremes, and then I'm gonna tell you about the nuances. So boom, right? You might have on the darker side. Sorry, that's my favorite side. I like to call this the evil side too, because it's taboo. So you have the darker side, right? Their family might be like mob or drug lords, right? You might have some gangbangers, you might have some assassins in that family. But that family is, the way they teach their family is like, they don't shame nudity. They can watch, anybody can watch porn. It might be porn all over the house, or there might be drugs. You know what I'm saying? People can drink alcohol and smoke weed at any age. They might do satanic rituals. They might do, rituals in general, like ceremonials, rituals, sex rituals. And they're taught magic, and they speak dark affirmations. You know what I'm saying? They do dark prayers over their food and over their things, right? And the nuance in this, what I'm about to say, is you also could have in that dark family people who are more of the light polarity, right? And on the light side, you might have people that are more of the dark polarity as well. But at the same time, regardless, those people still have their function and role in that family, right? And who are you to say one is bad or good? If we can understand that every family dynamic is different, what works for the goose may not work for the gander. If we can understand that within a family dynamic, and we can understand that in a friend group everybody's different, then who are you to tell me what's bad or what's right? If me communicating and embodying my demonic family is what connects me to my highest, truest self, Who are you to tell me that that's wrong or that's bad? And who would I be to tell you that connecting with angels or Christ consciousness or Ra or light beings is wrong and it's a lie, it's not real, darkness is superior? Like, who am I to tell you that? Because I might embody pink, and that might be my highest cosmic truth. You might embody orange, and that might be your highest cosmic truth. You can't tell me pink is wrong because it's not orange. And I can't tell you orange is wrong because it's not pink. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking about out loud. It was a second ago before I started recording. Because I don't like how the darkness, us evil beings, are always being shamed and pushed to the corners, and we're told to get out, even though darkness is 90% of everything, and you came from darkness. The trees came from darkness. Light came from darkness. Hello. If we understand that darkness is in every space, right? Why are we the most mistreated? Us demons, us monsters, us dark beings, right? Why do we get pushed out and shamed and blamed, and we're told that we're the root of all evil? Girl, what? You know how many people project their traumas onto dark beings? Whether that be dark angels, dark fairies, demons, monsters, underworld beings, you know, right? Dark mythic beasts, etc. Why is it okay for them to push their trauma onto us? Right? Why do we have to deal with their shit? Just because you as a light being can't handle watching porn does not apply to me. That doesn't apply to me. Just because you shame yourself for porn doesn't mean I have to shame myself, and doesn't mean that I have to have the same beliefs and ideas as you do when it comes to porn, right? That's just an example, one of many. But that's one of the biggest examples, right? Because if I like diaper porn or furry porn, right? Or shoulder porn, right? Or shit porn or public indecency porn, right? Or step sis or step bro porn. Or gangbang porn or cum slut porn. I'm sorry, I'm going on and on. Just because if I like that doesn't mean that I'm wrong or bad, or I'm going to hell and burning and die, and God's gonna hurt me. So childish. Because I'm different than you. Just because I'm different than you and I like different things than you, that does not make you better than me. You have no right to project your own false identities of what your God's going to do, or what your karma is going to do to me. Because I don't operate the same way you do. Does that make sense? Like, no side should be shaming any side for being their authentic nature. The light shouldn't be shaming the darkness for being authentically dark. The dark shouldn't be shaming the light for being authentically light. The shame only comes when beings aren't being authentic in their nature. And I'm not having, like I said, I told y'all in my videos, that shame has gone. We're done with that. I've already worked through my shame, my guilt, my self-hatred with sex, with my body, with my sexuality, with who I am and what I am. I fully embody and accept my darkest, truest being. I'm a void child. That's my authentic nature. I'm a void child. A void being. And I can no longer be ashamed of that. We're done with those days. And I urge every dark and or light being to operate out of their authentic nature. Right?
Realm of the soul.
Oh.
And
sorry, my TV. If you truly ever want to be evolved, you have to operate off your authentic nature. That is what literally happened to me. I told you this story before, but I'll tell you again real quick. I was trying to find a specific porn, right? This happened right after I started embodying my authentic dark nature fully. I want to find this certain porn. And I kept thinking about it all day. And then when I started doing the dishes, I was about halfway through because I was still thinking about, like, dang it, like, porn is getting harder to find because porn is getting harder to find. This goes back into what I said earlier about Pornhub. It's hard to find porn and porn that I used to watch because everything is getting taken down, or you need a specific thing, like an ID, to watch it. And I was thinking about it when I was doing dishes that one time, and this happened like a month ago. A month ago this happened like in November of 2025. We're in January of 2026, so technically, yeah, it'd be a few months ago. So I was doing dishes, and then halfway through, and now mind you, I was thinking about this porn, and I kept hearing the ring. I heard this ringing, right? I really didn't think too much of it at first because I always hear ringing, and I expected it to just kind of go away. But when you hear ringing in your ear, it's always good to remember, like, the thoughts you were just thinking and the thoughts you are thinking in that moment. And the ringing was not going away. And I got this download, like, oh, I was like, hold on, y'all, hold on. I'm saying y'all because I'm talking to the universe and beings that are watching over me. And I was like, hold on, like, oh shit. And when I went to the website, no, I went to the site. Was it on Twitter? I think it was on Twitter. No. Yeah. No. Yeah, it was on Twitter. When I went to Twitter, I searched up, I was searching up this category of porn, and I finally found it. And I found the ones that I had lost forever ago, right? That I haven't seen in years. Because y'all know how easy it was to find porn on Twitter, right? Even celebrity porn, which I found too, like TikTok porn, which that needs to be bigger, by the way. I love watching people do TikTok trends that are nude and then it's like them coming. But anyways, or fucking. Anyways, even that is getting hard to find on Twitter, especially celebrity porn, because celebrity porn used to be a whole lot easier. And there was this one dude who I found on there too, was called Colby Redway, and he did TikTok porn. Well, I said his name. I think I said his name wrong, but it doesn't matter. I always forget his name. But he did TikTok porn too, and I couldn't find the account that did it, and I found the account that did it. Like, I was finding a lot of people that, like, over the course of that month, I was just finding everybody, and even the website was a website. There's a website LPSG, where y'all know you can watch porn in there too, right? You don't necessarily need an account, or like you don't need like a gold premium account, whatever. Now when you go to LPSG, you can't watch anything on there anymore. You need, I guess, a VPN. So that ringing in my ear, mind you, I had the strangest urge to go to Twitter and to go to I have dyslexia. It's either LPSG or LSPG or LSGP, something like that, where you can find, like, now that is where you can find actual celebrities or like famous YouTubers, right? I found a lot of MGK. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, just TMI, right? MGK was one of those celebrities that I used to watch, whose porn I used to watch. He didn't really have porn necessarily, but there were some moments of him where he has his dick print out and he's fucking on stage. So anyway, I was able to find that on there. for like those few days, I was able to go there and find them. And then after those few days, I couldn't get on there anymore. That's how you know that if you are aligning with your authentic nature, the universe will align with you because you are the universe in a single drop. So it's just you aligning with yourself, right? And I was able to find that celebrity porn. I was able to find that TikTok porn on right? I was able to find even diaper porn, even diaper porn, right? I was able to find a certain because I followed somebody on YouTube um who does who talks about diapers, whatever. But he also has an X account, right? So I was able to find his dudes as well, and even people on TikTok that I follow, right? And it's crazy though because a lot more people do like nude content than I realize. Because I want to do nude content as well. That's another thing too, right? I want to do nude content as well. I no longer shame my body anymore. I'm not gonna do it now, but I do plan on doing it towards the end of this year because I am working out. I want to get my body down to like a certain because I started to gain weight the last few months because I started, enjoying the food. This goes back into me healing my trauma with food. After I healed my trauma with food, I started really enjoying it and I started gaining a lot of weight. So we're gonna get back down again. um Before I do that. But that's another thing too. It's like, who are you to tell me I'm not spiritual because I show my news online? That goes back into that too, right? Because if that's my authentic nature, and if I'm genuinely wanting and called to do that, why should I be less than somebody who doesn't do that? You know what I mean? So, as a dark being, and as dark beings in the cosmos, and who's watching my channel, don't shame yourself for that. Fuck with anybody. And this is why I love the darkness so much, because the darkness is really like, fuck you. This is why I love demons. I love demons and monsters, because they really be like, fuck you, bitch. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You can't shame a demon for being a demon. And this is why I really love that I'm so connected to demons and monsters, right? Underworld beings and mythic beings, because mythic beasts, right? Primal beings, because they're like, I don't give a fuck. You can't shame nature for being nature. You can't shame a lion for being a lion. You can't shame a demon for being a demon. You can't shame a monster for being a monster. Because they are a part of nature too. And they're just as powerful, if not more powerful, because they don't give a fuck. So yeah, that's what I want. I don't know why I'm tired of this video, but that's what I really want to talk about, right? Um, yeah, it's just I don't think it's okay for us to be pushed, us evil beings to be prime evil beings to be pushed out and discarded because we're different. If we are all part of pure imagination, are we supposed to be different? Pure imagination meaning source or Hecate, right? I call the void truest imagination. If we're a part of truest imagination or purest imagination, right? Wouldn't it make sense that we express that differently on the highest and lowest level? On top of that, if we are pure imagination, if we are the cosmos, the ocean in a single drop, would we express that differently as internally and on the individual level just as much as we would on a higher level as well? If we're all a rainbow and or emanations of that rainbow, if we're all different colors, wouldn't it make sense to express that color? Even pink has different shades. Even black has different shades. Even white has different shades. All these colors have different shades and hues within itself, which is us. We are the hues of the rainbow. At the same time, we are the shades of the hues of the rainbow. Does that make sense? It gets convoluted the higher you go up and the lower you go down. So it doesn't matter.
And yet, it is not spoken of.
So, yeah. This video's about to be a little too long. Just want to say that Just stop. Let people be. And I feel like if people want to watch Shoda or lowly porn, or if they want to watch porn, period, they should be able to do that without shame. Because who are you to say that it's wrong or it's bad? Just because they're watching porn doesn't mean they want to go out and rape people. Just because they play a GTA 5 doesn't mean they want to go out and kill every pedestrian they see in real life. But we can understand that nuance. Just because we watch an action movie or a horror movie full of killing and murder, right? Just because we watch a serial killer documentary doesn't mean we're going to go out and do that. It's entertainment and it's something that brings us joy. Higher beings understand that. Why can't you?
I have never sat down.
Everybody has their own interests, their own joys. Who are you to shame that? And we can even take it to the extreme of people who do some really crazy shit. Okay? Because if it all came from one place, then that one place is expressing itself in many ways. And you can't shame Source for being Source. You can't shame Hekate or the Void for being the Void or Hekate.
The only real connection.
It's impossible. That's just you trying to shame yourself. See how that works? See how convoluted things get? But yeah, I'm about to do so. Yeah, I just want to say that, y'all. That's been weighing on my heart. Like, I'm pissed off. Oh, and I'm going to make a video about my clip-off journey soon. Because I've been going through this. I've been going through some stuff. And I really feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I want to start sharing some stuff that I've learned. So, you know. I love y'all. I'll see y'all whenever, bitch. Bye. I gotta die.